Hello, welcome back to Learn JavaScript on Codecademy. We're in the loops section. This is the while loop. You're doing great. We're going to teach you about a different type of loop, the while loop. To start, let's convert a for loop into a while loop. So this is a for loop here that prints 1, 2, and 3. We say for, let counter 1 be assigned 1. As long as counter 1 is less than 4, we're going to increment counter 1 by 1. And it's going to log counter 1 each time it goes through that loop. This is a while loop that prints 1, 2, and 3. We have let counter 2 be assigned 1. Then we say while counter 2 is less than 4, log out counter 2, and then increment counter 2 by 1. And it does the same thing. So let's break down what's happening with our while loop syntax. The counter 2 variable is declared before the loop. We can access it inside our while loop since it's in the global scope. We start our loop with the keyword while, followed by our stopping condition, or test condition. This will be evaluated before each round of the loop. While the condition evaluates to true, the block will continue to run. Once it evaluates to false, the loop will stop. Next, we have our loop's code block, which prints counter 2 to the console and increments counter 2. What would happen if we didn't increment counter 2 inside our block? If we didn't include this, counter 2 would always have its initial value 1. That would mean that the testing condition, counter 2 less than 4, would always evaluate to true, and our loop would never stop running. Remember, this is called an infinite loop, and it's something we always want to avoid. Infinite loops can take up all of your computer's processing power, potentially freezing your computer. So you may be wondering when to use a while loop. The syntax of a for loop is ideal when we know how many times the loop should run, but we don't always know this in advance. Think of eating like a while loop. When you start taking bites, you don't know the exact number you'll need to become full. Rather, you'll eat while you're hungry. In situations when we want a loop to execute an undetermined number of times, while loops are the best choice. Our instructions say, below the cards array, declare a variable current card with the let keyword, but don't assign it a value. Let's do that now. So we've declared it and didn't assign it a value. Let's run that. We pass. 2 says, create a while loop with a condition that checks if the current card does not have the value spade. Inside the block of the while loop, add the following line of code. Math.floor mathrandom times 4 will give us a random number from 0 to 3. We'll use this number to index the cards array and assign the value of current card to a random element from that array. First copy this, and then let's do that while loop. And then in here, we're going to paste that line of code. So while current card is not spade, we're going to do this to current card. We're going to assign it a random card. Okay, let's run it. We did pass. Let's go down. Awesome, your loop is running, but you can't tell because it doesn't output anything. Let's add a console.log statement to our while block. Inside the block, after you assign current card a new value, log current card to the console. For fun, you can run your code a few times and see how the output changes. So let's log it out under here, run it, and see what we get. So we see our while loop ran this many times before it finally hit a spade randomly. Let's run it again. Last time it was pretty quick. And we notice it does print out spade. And that is because a card came in, club, and it logged club. It went back in here, and it was assigned a new value when we log it, and then got spade. Then it went back in here, it's seen it was false, and it didn't print anything else. So what we're learning here, the while loop, we learned that is different from the for loop in use. When we use a for loop, it's usually when we know how long we will be looping for. When we don't know how long we will be looping for, a while loop is best. As long as you guys are understanding that, you guys are getting the while loop, and I'll see you in the next lesson.